terms of the two hikes, so let me say a couple things. First of all, not for the first time about the dot plot. These are, of course, individual projections. They're not a committee forecast. They're not a plan. And we did not actually have a discussion of whether liftoff is appropriate at any particular year, because discussing liftoff now would be highly premature. It wouldn't make any sense. In our if you look at the transcripts from 5 years ago, you'll see that sometimes people mention their rate path in their interventions. Often they don't. And the last thing to say is the dots are not a great forecaster of future rate moves, and that's not because it's just because it's so highly uncertain. There is no great forecaster of future dots. So dots to be taken with a big grain of salt. However, so let me talk about this meeting. The committee spelled out, as you know, in our FOMC statements, the conditions that it expects to see before an adjustment in the target range is made. And it's outcome-based, it's not time-based, and as I mentioned, it's labor market conditions consistent with maximum employment, inflation at 2%, and on track to exceed 2%. And the projections that give some sense of how participants see the economy evolving in their most likely case. And honestly, the main message I would take away from the SEP is that participants, many participants, are more comfortable that the economic conditions in the committee's forward guidance will be met somewhat sooner than previously anticipated. And that would be a welcome development. If such outcomes materialize, it means the economy will have made faster progress toward our goals. So the other thing I'll say is rate increases are really not at all the focus of the committee. The focus of the committee is the current state of the economy, but in terms of our tools, it's about asset purchases. That's what we're thinking about. Liftoff is well into the future. The conditions for liftoff were very far from maximum employment, for example. It's a consideration for the future. So the near-term thing is really, the near-term discussion that will begin is really about the path of asset purchases. And as I mentioned, we had a discussion about that today and expect to, at future meetings, continue to think about our progress.